Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and this is a breakdown of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. The Turtles are back. They're fully animated, and for the first time, they're voiced by actual teenagers. As a kid who grew up playing with Ninja Turtles toys, with eating Ninja Turtles ice cream, going to hang out with the Ninja Turtles at Disney's MGM Studios, and giving Raph the biggest hug a 4-year-old could give, I love this movie, and there are so many Easter eggs and animation details, so I'm gonna break it all down. And hey, we're on YouTube, and Mr. Beast freaking cameos in this movie. So I think we're just obligated to break it down and talk about it. Okay, the opening shot is of a New York City sewer manhole cover. What we expect to be the home of the Turtles and Splinter, but not yet. We're getting a new origin story that we see right here. Cynthia Utrom is voiced by Maya Rudolph, sending out a strike force to reclaim proprietary tech of TCRI, the Techno-Cosmic Research Institute. Now, the TCRI is an organization that has existed in many iterations of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and many Turtles universes. The Utroms are an alien race that Krang is a part of. You know, Krang. But as far as we know in this film, Cynthia is just a human with an alien last name. Though this strike force is rolling with some serious tech, their weapons neutralize mutants, which comes back into play in the final act of the movie. That's the only way they're able to defeat Super Duper Fly. So this strike team is after Baxter Stockman, voiced by Giancarlo Esposito, and his research and ooze samples he used to create mutants. In comics and in previous iterations, Stockman is kind of a crazy scientist who creates the Mousers, which are chicken-shaped robots. Stockman is also mutated into a large fly. The design of him here actually kind of nods to that, as does his surrogate fly baby son, who becomes Superfly in this movie. In another Turtles iteration, he implants his brain into a giant robot. But here, Stockman tells his fly baby that they can be a family, and that he can finally create a family and feel like he belongs using his mutagen. There are test tubes featuring baby animal versions of the mutants that we will meet later. Thankfully, all baby animals here are the same size and can fit in test tubes, but we see gestating pretty much all of them. There's a future Genghis Frog, a future Leatherhead, and a future Bebop. We actually see sketches of the mutated Rhino that will become Rocksteady, Warthog that becomes Bebop, a Gator that becomes Leatherhead, and a Manta Ray that will become Ray Fillet. And you can actually see a green post-it note where Stockman was already planning to make Bebop's iconic glasses. Mutant Mayhem just looks so different from any other animated movie I've ever seen, and that's because writer-director Jeff Rowe built on the animation style of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and he said that he wanted to make the art look intentionally unrefined. He said, quote, "We decided we wanted this movie to look exactly like a concept artwork, and we want the concept artwork to feel distinctly human and not computer generated." Yes! Good man! And he said, and that means sketchy and imperfect and misshapen and reminiscent of the way you draw when you're a child or a teenager, and your passion and your enthusiasm for making art hasn't been dimmed by formal art training. It's the kind of drawing you do before you have that voice in your head that says, don't do that, that's not how you draw. And so we see that with Stockman's scribbly hair and his beard, a hairstyle that Superfly will later take on, which is adorable, and Stockman's twitchy two-dimensional eyes, and in many shots, the background surfaces that would have writing on them are just scribbles. For a movie that really celebrates the teenage and the mutant aspects of TMNT, that choice just works so well. So Stockman's baby fly does an impressive job fighting back and even manages to scratch up the face of Spider. This is the head of the strike force who later loses an eye, but Stockman is killed in an explosion and some of that mutagen drips down in the sewer. Baxter's fly son manages to escape with his baby mutant siblings. As we cut to 15 years later, we see Leo draping on his blue mask, being the most disciplined with his ninja training, Donnie with his staff, Mikey with his nunchucks, and Raph licks his side. Why does he do this? Well, maybe some pizza grease is left on it, because we see later when he stabs the bread, he uses these to snatch food all the time. Raph is also the one turtle missing a tooth. I thought that might be because he's just always the first to rumble, but we see even as a baby, he has that missing tooth as well. It just never really grew in. Now, when we first see these turtles, they have a way more intense white-eyed design, similar to how they were when they were first conceived by Kevin Eastman back in 1984. But as soon as we learn their mission is to get Go-Gurt and other groceries, suddenly their eyes have pupils, making them seem like boyish teenagers. We also see how the moon is now way dimmer and more realistically masked by the city's haze and light pollution. Leonardo in this movie is voiced by Nicholas Cantu, Micah Abbey is Donatello, Shaman Brown Jr. is the voice of Michelangelo, and Brady Noon is Raph. Jeff Rowe has said that he let the tape roll between the takes so you'd get that authenticity of them talking over each other. He said, quote, just letting them talk about YouTube videos that they saw and try to make each other laugh, and we just took so much of that and put it in the film. And again, it is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the teenage vibes of it is part of what makes it so great. And God, I hope that some of those kids might have seen some of my YouTube videos. That would make my day. Also, I just like the details that Donnie has glasses and Mikey has braces. Don't think that hard about whatever optometrist or orthodontist they went to for these. I think they're just little character design details that make them true teenagers. So they all tease Leo for making his voice deep like Batman. It's one of many pop culture references we get in this movie. The Turtles actually did team up with Batman in an animated film, Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they have crossed paths with Batman in the Injustice video game series, though I think here it's just assumed that Batman is a character that they see in TV shows and movies and comic books. Same with the references to Avengers Endgame in the MCU, it's just they watch MCU movies in this world. The Turtles use their stealth and weapons training to steal groceries, and we learn about a series of heists involving Superfly. Raph, Mikey, and Donnie convince Leo to let them stay out for an outdoor movie screening of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is a Paramount movie, of course, like this is. It's pretty ironic that all they want is a high school life that they think Ferris Bueller has, when Ferris Bueller wanted to skip school. He wanted to leave high school. They just want to go to high school. Splinter, voiced by Jackie Chan, scolds them for being late, and Leo confesses that they stayed out for a movie, and Splinter tells Mikey not to use rat in a negative way, as in rat someone out, and Splinter again recounts their origin story. Briefly, we see a moving truck with a Triceraton on it. Triceratons are an alien race from TMNT lore who look like anthropomorphized Triceratopses. Splinter explains how he found them as baby turtles covered in the ooze, saying, "Because I was older, I became an older rat. You guys are babies, so you stayed baby turtle creatures. If you think about that, it could make more sense." And I just couldn't help but laugh at this because of course it doesn't make sense. And I just love the design of younger Splinter as a dad with the mustache and the Jerry curl. Just a sweet papa. He takes them to Times Square, hoping for the best, seeing the bright LED billboards, even a McDonald's. If you look closely, though, it's not a classic golden arches, it's just kind of a golden squiggle. There is a janky looking SpongeBob SquarePants, which of course, another Nickelodeon property. This peaceful moment of bliss is broken by the public freaking out at the sight of a giant rat. One bystander who tries to see if Splinter is actually a man in costume is voiced by Mr. Beast, aka Jimmy Donaldson. He's listed in the credits as Times Square guy. He says, "It's real, I touched it!" After the public turns against Splinter, he vows to keep the turtles from getting hurt by humans by unlocking the ancient secrets of ninjutsu through Carrie Lee's Guide to Self-Defense, which is a real self-defense video made in 1988. They also watch Easy Bow Staff Tricks for Beginners, a YouTube video made by Black Belt Samery that you can watch for yourself if you want. Also just some classic martial arts movies. Like one of them that we see in this montage is Snake and Eagle Shadow, which is an early Jackie Chan movie that's considered the movie that made him famous. Throughout this, we see them getting their iconic weapons, including Don's bow staff, which will eventually adorn with stickers to show off his personality, including a Gojo sticker from the anime Jujutsu Kaisen. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Watching stuff frame by frame is great, but it can also be really rewarding to zoom out and look at things like story, pacing, and character development. For a movie, you can just let it play out. But when you're the target of analysis, it's better to get some help from BetterHelp. Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just going through a hard time, therapy can give you some tools to approach your life in a very different way. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. There's a link in my description. It's betterhelp.com/newrockstars. To get started, just answer a few questions about what you're looking for from therapy and what your preferences are. BetterHelp will then match you with a therapist from their network that's right for you. If you don't really fit in with that therapist, which is a common thing with therapy, you can easily switch to a therapist for free without stressing about insurance or who's in your network or anything like that. You can always benefit from talking to somebody and getting things off your chest. So if you're struggling, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/newrockstars. Clicking that link helps support this channel, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. So the turtles get grounded, and among the clutter in their room, we see a Planet Hollywood mug, a Super Soaker on the ground, and a Target board hanging on a pipe with a score sheet underneath. Raph's size sticks out from the underwear drawer. Leonardo has a poster for Secret Ninja Roaring Tiger on his bunk, which is a Korean martial arts film from 1982. Donatello has a globe and stacks of books next to his bed, as well as a model of the space shuttle and a computer monitor with icons on the desktop that are just a complete mess. I feel you, Donnie. I don't organize my desktop either. Superfly and his goons steal more equipment and bring it back to the beached oil tanker from TCRI, but at TCRI HQ, we see that it has been 5,745 days since the last successful mutation, which, if you do your math, that would mean it has been 15 years and 270 days, which is about the time Stockman was killed. We can also see the failed mutation jars on the wall, and Spider now rocks an eye patch, and Neutron wants to use trackers on the equipment to get Superfly found. So the turtles are doing some weapons practice on the roof with watermelons, calling out that Mikey said, "Looks like Stewie had a baby with Hey Arnold." Hey Arnold, of course, another reference to a Nickelodeon property, and while throwing their ninja stars, they hit April O'Neil in the helmet, and while yelling at them, she gets her scooter stolen. The turtles give chase and leads them to this chop shop, and they fight these guys at the chop shop. Their first real fight with of criminals who confuse them for little Shreks and Geico geckos. They bump their head into the car radio that plays the ninja rap from Vanilla Ice. Go ninjas, go ninjas, go! Of course, from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze from 1991, director Jeff Rose said that this was his favorite Easter egg. It was suggested by Seth Rogen, and I very much agree. I love this. April is voiced by Ayo Edebiri, who is so good in The Bear, and she gets to know the turtles over pizza under a neon sign that says The Laird, a reference to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles co-creator Peter Laird. April is a high school journalist tracking Superfly's crimes, and the turtles devise a plan to stop Superfly and allow April, who they list in their phone as April (human), to tell her story to get the humans to accept them. They compare it to how Hulk was able to get society to accept him by saving the day, and Mikey reminds us all of Mark Ruffalo's improvising skills in Avengers Endgame, setting up his specific love of improv in this movie. I also love how in Donnie's imagination of their plan to win the love of humans, the turtles are again drawn with white eyes, looking like Kevin Eastman's art of them. April's journalist mind is in overdrive as we see her notebook. Some of the questions she has about the turtles including, can you carry salmonella or other diseases? Have you caught COVID? Like, can you get sick? Are you the source of COVID? Are the weapons from Hot Top, Pawn Shop, self-made? How many people has the red bandana turtle stabbed? Does he need therapy? Unrelated, how much toilet paper is too much for the sewer to handle? Can you be good ninjas if I've seen you be ninjas? Will you have to kill me now? Do you have superhuman or turtle strength? What do you eat besides pizza? Are there any pizza spots you recommend? Does your blood have acid-like properties? What's your lifespan? Do your shells molt? Does your rat dad molt? Do you have ears? And we also see on the margins that she's been trying to work out their hands and their number of fingers. April takes them to her high school, Eastman High, which is a nod to Turtles co-creator Kevin Eastman. The turtles love it! Donatello sees a locker with an Attack on Titan drawing on it, foreshadowing the battle tactic they use in the third act. And Mikey signs up for improv comedy team tryouts, and we confirm the turtles do not have last names. And seeing the graffiti on her locker, April has to reveal her humiliation as Puke Girl. The flashback showing her puking Nickelodeon slime-colored vomit all over the set as we feel the rain on our skin. And it's just so sad because you'll notice in the cue cards, they put hearts over the eyes in April O'Neil. Then this awesome montage set to No Diggity. The turtles take down the crime families, including Short Sharon, Bald Bronson, Toupee Tom, Normal Neat, and Bad Bernie. Director Jeff Rowe confirmed that this sequence was inspired by the quarter fight scene in Old Boy. They acquire the clothes they'll later wear at the end of the movie to their first day of school, including Don's purple JoJo hoodie. Leo wears a preppy blue polo tucked into khakis like his own version of a school uniform. And by the way, the shirt I am wearing is a special collaboration between New Rockstars and Kinda Fit, Kinda Fat. They're a really fun body-inclusive clothing brand whose products celebrate working out and eating great food. Check out the Muscle Mutant Meal Prep shirt on their site, kindafit.com, when it drops in a few weeks. Don gets a call from Splinter, and his ringtone is an 8-bit version of Butter by BTS. Ding, 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 ding. Something his brothers will later try to soothe him with when they're getting milked. By the way, I love how Splinter's fears of them getting milked is exactly what happens to them. Always listen to your dads. Splinter surprises them with a human world restaurant experience with some Pizza Hut pizzas, complete with the 3 Chris's: Chris Evans, Chris Pratt, and Chris Pine. But of course, Chris Pine is the only one who's in his character costume, Captain Kirk from Star Trek, which is another Paramount property. They meet Superfly, who's voiced by Ice Cube. Bebop is voiced by Seth Rogen, who also co-wrote and produced this film. Rocksteady, voiced by John Cena. Wingnut, voiced by Natasha Demetrio. Ray Fillet, voiced by Post Malone, which is why he sings. Leatherhead's voiced by Rose Byrne. Mondo Gecko, voiced by Paul Rudd, who sat right next to the Hulk in that scene in Avengers Endgame. Genghis Frog, voiced by Hannibal Buress. And Scumbug, who's voiced by Alex Hirsch, an animator and creator of Gravity Falls, and worked with a lot of these animators on Mitchell's vs. Machines. Superfly's big plan is to mutate all animals on Earth and make them the dominant species while killing and subjugating humans and humiliating them. So the turtles try to steal the last piece of the device from Superfly and his crew as Four Non Blondes' What's Up transitions into the 2006 YouTube meme favorite. You know, the one that He-Man sings. Oh my God, do I try? During the struggle, Superfly quotes rapper Ice-T's 6 in the morning by saying 6 in the morning, please at my door, and he gets away with the device. Utrom and the TCRI make Splinter's fears a reality, and they milk the turtles for their blood, despite them not having nipples. And the boys sing some BTS to calm Donnie. April shows up with Splinter, who kicks some major ass after they call him Ratatouille. He utilizes each of the turtles' weapons and even does a Neo running on the Agent Smith clones from Matrix Reloaded move using Donnie's staff. The turtles convince the other mutants to turn on Superfly, and everyone's on the same team, but Superfly still activates the device. He quotes the OJ song Backstabber, saying they smiling in your face all the time they want to take your place, and the machine goes into the river, and Superfly super mutates into Super Duper Fly, a mutant kaiju composed of bug eyes, mandibles, a whale mouth, a whole elephant's head with tusks, giraffes, octopus tentacles on the face and head, a crab claw for his right hand, and his hand is made of 3 narwhals attached to an arm that's an amalgamation of animals. Not to forget the foot made out of a bunch of horses. The battle is pretty tough, but the turtles lean on their individual strengths, and I like how specifically we can hear them mention yes and when they come up with their battle plan, yes and being the central tenet and philosophy of improvisation. April overcomes her fear of appearing on camera just to control the media narrative around the turtles, make it clear that they are the heroes. The turtles commandeer a pizza delivery van, making reference to the Turtle Van. The toy version shot pizza discs, and I totally had this thing. Donnie pitches a plan based on Attack on Titan to attack the giant's weak spot in the back of his neck. Splinter is knocked to the ground, and as some New Yorkers approach him, he worries that he'll be attacked again just like in Times Square, but this time a friendly man lends a hand and asks if he's okay, and this is actually a voice cameo by Turtles co-creator Kevin Eastman. The Turtles, mutants, and New Yorkers band together to demutate the Superfly, and we totally got vibes from the first Spider-Man movie.
You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us!
A news reporter refers to them as Hero Turtles, which is interesting because in the UK, the series was known as Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles because the word ninja was deemed to have connotations too violent for kids. So the mutants all move into the sewer with Splinter, who is now dating Scumbug, calling back his lifelong friendship with that poor cockroach who got stomped when he was still just a normal rat. The turtles are heroes. They get to go to high school, and again, Donnie wears his hoodie with the logo of the anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and Mikey's shirt is very reminiscent of the Hawaiian tourist action figure version of him from 1992, another toy that I had. And April's locker has gone from April O Puke to April O Hero. And as the credits roll, they include all the different animation styles from the different iterations of the animated turtle shows and movies, and then we get this mid-credit scene. Donnie has found his clique, Raph is letting some rage out on wrestling, Mikey is taking improv, though he says no, but he should be saying yes and Leo and April research TCRI, which has vanished without a trace. Cynthia Outram is still monitoring the turtles, and she's captured a demutated Superfly. She decides it's time to call in the big guns, and we see the silhouette of, who else could it be? The Shredder! The Turtles' most iconic villain, and the one that has a long history with the Outram aliens in the lore, who often provide Shredder with his alien technology. It's never confirmed that Cynthia was human in this movie, and her character design did evoke some of the Outram species, so we will have to wait and see if we learn more about her origin. Hey, a huge thanks to Brandon Barrick, Erik Francisco, Gina Ippolito, and Jordan Morris for researching and writing this breakdown. Please subscribe to all 3 of the channels in the new Rockstars network. Follow me on social platforms at EA Voss. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.